Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bahashim, Fakadash. The honor to the apostles and others, great millstone, peace and salutations to the Akim and to the elect. And that's scattered across the four corners of the earth, preaching the truth and faith and sincerity. I'm the bro Shemala from the GMS Houston camp. This lesson is going to be a scripture of the day, Matthew 22 and 21. Basically, kind of, zooming in on, how clever Yahushua was. When he was dealing with the Pharisees, whenever they try to entangle him, right, and his talk, to try to basically have something to accuse him of, you see, to basically get him caught up and deliver him, to the authorities at that time, right? And Yahweh Shai, he knew and perceived this, and he answered accordingly, right? And it's just, just a trait, right, that you gotta have, right, in this truth, because you see, you're gonna have people, right? Or you just gonna be in certain situations. Let's just say this: you're gonna be in certain situations where you're just gonna have to use wisdom and maneuver, all right, through situations subtly, right, and craftily. You see, in righteousness, right? Because we know that this is a spiritual fight, spiritual battle, and we know that demons, right, come after us, all day long, right, through people we encounter, or certain situations that happen, right? And you just gotta, right, foresee things, right? If I do this, if I say this, what will happen? Right? If I do this, right, a certain action, what would be the outcome of this? How can I avoid this? Certain things like that. But let's start here. Matthew 22:15 says, Then went the Pharisees into council how they might entangle him in his talk. And when you go to Luke 20, right, it's also said here, but let's see what this says. Luke 20:20. And they watched him and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men, right? Some, righteous, right? They were basically pretenders or acting, right, as though they were righteous men, right? That they might take hold of his words, that so they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the government, right? So this whole thing right here, right back in Matthew, they were doing this to deliver him up, right, to see what he would say, right? And they thought they were clever, right? But you can't outsmart, right, Yahushua, right? Basically the creator, because the Most High used them to create everything. How can you outsmart the creator? Outsmart the master, right? It says, and they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. Right? He said the Herodians, right? And we know that, you had Herod, which was an Edomite, right? That looked like, a Jake, right? Because of his forefather, um, man, what's the guy name? I think his name is slipping me right now. I believe I don't want to say Aristotle. It might be, right? No, but ultimately, look, his forefather was an Edomite, but he married a Jake woman, right? And he came out looking like Jake. So the Herodians were a Edomite ruling dynasty that basically looked like Jake. All right. So it says, we know that thou art true and teaches the way of the Most High in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, but thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? So just examine this statement, right? They said, Master, we know that thou art true and teachest the way of the Most High. Truth, neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the persons of men. So they said, look, we know you about the law, you know you righteous, right? And we know you don't have respect of persons, right? You don't care about the position of a man, you don't care who he is, right? You operate in the truth, right? Because the law says basically don't show respect of persons. Basically, you give certain judgments because of a person's status or position or authority, right? You show favor and you basically judge them according to that, right? So they saying, look, we know you don't do that. So is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar? Because Caesar was basically a title, right, for the basically the Roman emperors. You see, it was attributed to whoever would be ruling. You could use a Caesar, and today, so you can understand, it's a president. All right, so they like, shit, is it lawful to give tribute unto him? Because look, if Yahweh Shah said, all right, just if he just said simply yes, they were gonna say, all right, you a hypocrite because hey, you giving tribute unto him because of his authority, right? Because hey, they knew that Caesar was in power and that he had control of everything, right? He basically had Israel in subjection, you know, so all of that, right? So if he would have just said, yes, all right, you hypocrite, that means you are just paying tribute unto him because of who he is, right? You show respect to persons. But if he said, no, it's not lawful, then they were going to deliver him up, right, to the authorities. You see, so either way it went, right? If he would have just said yes, or if he would have said no, right, it wasn't going to be too good. But Yahweh Shah, he said, hey, but Yahweh Shah perceived their wickedness. You see, Luke 20 says, Luke 20:23, but he perceived their craftiness. So he knew that, right? So he used wisdom, right? After you read down, right, to handle the situation. It says, but y'all shall perceive their wickedness. He said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Right? So he already knew because it said in Luke 20, they feigned themselves just men. They were actors, right? That's what a hypocrite is. He said, show me the tribute money. And they brought him a penny. And he said unto them, who is this image and superscription? Right. So on this tribute money, whose face is this? Right. Or who owns this? Right. Whose name is this on here? Whose face is this and all that? They say unto him, Caesar. Right. So he says, then said he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and the Most High the things that are the Most High. When they heard these words, they marveled. They left him and went their way. Right. So they couldn't do anything because he said, "Look, this belongs to him. So get that shit to him. Right? It's his. Right? His name on it. His face is on it. Get that man his things. All right. You see, they could do nothing about it. Right? So they came up with a plan to try to deliver him up, but he was crafty. Right? He was he was wise in the situation. It's just Matthew 10:16 said, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves, and they were wolves, right? Because what a wolf or a wolf, right, looks to attack the sheep, to kill the sheep, right? And that's ultimately what they were trying to do in their craftiness to try to deliver him up. It said, be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So you have to use the wisdom of a serpent. And they are wise. The serpent knows exactly when to strike, you know, they carefully watch people. You see, they know exactly when to do certain things. right? But we ain't attacking, right, physically, right? That's not what we're using because it says be harmless as does. So we're using the our mental capacity, like the wisdom, right, that we were blessed with to fight these battles, right, to maneuver through certain situations. You see, that's what Yahweh did. And so we're gonna be in certain situations to where, right, we're gonna have to display this wisdom, right? You know, amongst these people in whatever situation that we're dealing with, right? Okay, because we're gonna be put in, numerous minor situations, right? The Most High gonna do it just to see how you gonna act, right? And this is just a one of many great examples of, you know, how to handle right situations, right? No other, right, from the Messiah itself, right? So that was just a quick lesson, you know, just lesson edifying. With that, I'm gonna say Shalom.